Hey, hey, welcome back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey. It's that uncut cocaine. Gino, that pure. Let's go, man.
What is going on? Good morning, Chicago and the rest of the world. Welcome to the Money Sex Gen X podcast. I am your host with the most, the man with the plan, the Scotty Pippen of podcast Hempin, Mr. Eric McLaurin, and I am joined by the Titan of Team Tech, music mogul in the making, and the Rasheed Wallace of this situation, because you never know what he's going to do. My co-host, my brother,
Yes.
the homie,
Yes.
Big Stu.
Yes. Getting it right, bruh.
What's going on, Big Stu? What's going on?
Man, life is good, man. I'm in a good place today, man. How about you?
I'm in a good place. I love the bow tie. You represent to the fullest.
Man, you told me that you asked me to, you asked it, what a bow ties at? And I was telling you how I be trying to chill, and you was like, nah, bring him. So the surprise is you never know what I'm gonna rock week to week. And this week, my lovely lady a couple of years ago grabbed this for me, man. She brought it home as a surprise, and it's one of my favorite bow ties. You hear them bars, man. You know I got bars.
I love it. She has great taste. She has great taste.
She does.
So I want to do a little bit of the how was your week, but I'm asking a little bit different this week. What happened this week that was on your radar?
Gee whiz, there are like 3 or 4 major things. I'm gonna save one of them to the end, but Elon Musk, man, became the richest man in the world, man, outpacing Jeff Bezos. That was one.
Quietly, too.
Quietly.
Yeah, that was interesting. I saw that.
Second thing, so I think there were 4 things major. Bitcoin crash, man. Bitcoin with bananas this week, man.
Shout out to everybody who held on.
Yes, get in where you fit in, man.
That's right. Yeah.
The third thing was, the third thing that really got me this week was Tesla's stock price. Tesla's stock price was phenomenal, man. It was a great showing this week. It was like a beautiful dance, and we'll probably talk about that a little later.
Yeah.
And of course, the last and final thing that really kind of stuck out with me this week was, just what happened on Capitol Hill, bro. Just
that was something to behold.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
So, what about you? What were the things that stuck out for you?
Yeah, man, everything that you just mentioned was certainly on my radar. I was paying attention to all these things, the Bitcoin, and I definitely made that reflection about Bitcoin and Tesla. You know, shout out to the people again who held on to both, because, you know, especially, and we'll talk about this more, but with Tesla, people were, you know, they made a lot of comments about Elon Musk and his credibility and his state of mind and all of that. And so now we see who was right and exact and who wasn't. So, you know, if you held on, great for you. And yeah, the Capitol Hill situation was really, really telling for some.
Yeah.
Some, right? But definitely interesting TV. I'll say
there were 2 other stories. The first black mayor of Boston, who is a woman. That was phenomenal. Also, the Georgia senator being elected, first black senator. Mm-hmm. And then I saw the face, and I'm not prepared today, but I saw the face and got the name of the woman, the black woman who led the research for the COVID vaccine.
Wow. Okay.
So that's how my week was. My week was a great week. It was popping. First week of the year, man.
I'm glad to hear that. So we want to thank you all for joining us today. We have a fascinating, riveting conversation that we're going to have today about, and the title of this episode is 10 Things That They Don't Tell You About the Stock Market. And we're going to really approach this conversation from a lot of different angles, but we're going to just see what we come up with as we speak here. Anything you want to kind of talk about to introduce this topic, Big Stu?
The one thing I guess, for me is it's a lot more accessible today, and that you can get in and play at any price point today. So I think, just there used to be this talk, I guess, about that investing is for rich people and you can't play. But today, honestly, it may sound petty, but you can get in for $1.
Yes, you can.
On any stock. That's phenomenal. So this conversation is for anybody, man.
It is. And I agree with all those points. So before we dive in, I'm going to do a quick disclaimer.
Please.
And that disclaimer is really simple. We are not offering financial advice during this episode. This information is intended to be factual. We might say a few things about what we do, but we are not in any manner offering you any sort of financial advice. So please do not construe it as such.
You cannot come back. You cannot come back and will not come back and say Big Stu or Eric said I should do anything.
True indeed.
We are not telling you what to do at all.
We are not. So, as we do with many episodes, I'm going to start off with a couple actual factuals, and then we're going to get into it. So,
wait, Eric, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Before you do actual factuals, I'd like to take a moment just to let people know that before we get into it, can we just take a moment just to let people know to go visit our store?
Yes, sir. We got a great.
Please go visit our store at. And there should be a link there for you to do so.
I need that tea. I need that.
You need that tea?
Yes, sir. Gotta have it.
Here we go. We have this tea. We have the mug, the MSG mug. It's stylish.
I love that one. Yeah.
We have the MSG t-shirt dress.
Okay. It's my first time seeing that, man. I like that. Okay. About the cop with my lady.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Different colors. And then, of course, we got the baseball tee for the classic throwback. And, of course, we have our unisex hoodies that come in, like, so many colors.
So many flavors on those. I love that. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yep. So I just wanted to take a minute to share that. Please feel free to go over to our store and get some MSG merch.
That's right. That's moneysexgenxpodcast.com, and we have a link, merch store. Please get over there today, get you some merch. Betty Nelson says, "Oh, I love the t-shirt dress." Yes, I hear you. As far as the dress, I'm curious, what flavors do those come in?
I believe it's like pink and white. Not a whole lot.
Okay.
But a few. Pink, white, heather gray.
Okay. All right.
The white is really, really cute. The white is really, really cute. Yeah. And it's actually very, very affordable at only like $32.50.
That's a great price point. Okay. I'll have to get a couple of those for some gifts this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there we go. Okay.
All right, let's do it. Actual factual. So let's frame this up a little bit before, Stu, I want to say this. I hate when people talk about stocks or any type of investment when they just jump into the subject matter with no context, nothing to kind of put around it so that it's sort of easier to understand. So what we did is we put together a couple of facts to kind of frame this up. And these facts are really more about what is the stock market in the first place before we talk about what they didn't tell you. So let's get into this. So the stock market started in the 16th century, according to the history books. Okay. From what I have researched, it is pretty agreed upon that it started in Amsterdam. I didn't know that. Amsterdam is one of my favorite cities, actually. I didn't know that it started 16th century in Amsterdam. The American Stock Exchange, so this is the 16th century. Now, the American Stock Exchange didn't begin until the 1790s. Okay, so it was a couple of hundred years later. Now, we know that the stock market now is actually a global marketplace with a value of around $95 trillion. And by most accounts, the average return in the stock market for investors is around between 8 and 10%. Okay. So I wanted to throw those facts out there, but sliding from the facts, let's talk about this. What is a stock? What is a market? And how does that market work?
Is that a question that you're asking me?
That's a question I'm asking the audience, but I would love for you to answer. What is a stock?
Well, as I know it, and again, I'm off the street, no formal education in stock investing at all.
Okay.
That's
probably better.
Yeah. A stock is a share of ownership in a company, whether that company is publicly traded or not. It's a piece of ownership in a company. Eric, please tell me, did I get that answer correct?
1000%.
Hey.
We're going to keep this easy to understand and right and exact. It is a piece of ownership. Now, if you could do us the pleasure of explaining to the people, what is a market?
A market?
Yes.
This is okay. He just raised the stakes. A market is a place, a place where you can exchange ownership.
Okay, I like that. A place where you can exchange ownership. I would say as well, a place where you can buy and sell stuff.
Okay, you made it even simpler.
Yep. I've always been told if you're trying to explain something, it should be easy enough for a child to understand. So that's our goal today. Even though we're talking to a lot of different people, but we're going to keep this very easy to understand. Okay, so we got the shares of ownership in a company, and we have the place to buy and sell. Now, how does this work, Big Stu, from your definition or your understanding? So how does that place where you can get pieces of a company and you have active buyers and sellers, how does that work on a day-to-day basis? How would you explain that?
So you have where, and this is how I normally explain it. If I have the money and I want to take ownership, I can go to this market or this exchange, and I can give my money in exchange for a certificate of ownership, also known as a stock. Conversely, I can also go to this place if I have the stock and I want to exchange that certificate of ownership or stock for money.
That's right.
And so every day I can, in my Cardi B voice, make the money move.
Make the money move. There you go. All right. I love it. So now let's take it a step further. We're going a piece at a time here. So now let's ask this question. Why are companies interested in offering these pieces of their company?
Okay. All right. That's a great question.
Why?
It's a great way to fundraise. It's a great way for companies to get cash by opening themselves to the general public. When we're talking about publicly traded companies, that is.
That's right. Okay.
It's a great way to take in additional cash so you can grow your business or scale your business.
Okay. Perfect. Man, you're on 1 million.
Come through.
So let's bring this back to like everyday life. So a company is no different than you and I. Say you and I started a business out of our garage, and we're like, you know what? We want to grow this business, but we don't want to use our own money for everything. Or we want to get access to more money than maybe you and I have. So maybe you and I have $1,000, but we need access to $200,000 in order to get this business where we want it to go. Would you say that that's the basic premise of why these companies are doing this?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's that simple. It's like they want access to other people's money because they have things that they want to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So we got that out of the way. Any other sort of foundational comments that you want to make on the premise here?
No. You got the premise. I hope everybody's got the premise down pat. I think you've done a great job of getting us there.
All right. So now we know what the stock market is. All right. So we actually took the time out this week. And if you have any questions, definitely get in the chat. We took the time out to create a series of slides to help with this conversation. We wanted it to be conversational, but we pulled together the 10 things that we thought, and there's millions of them, right? There's millions of things that people don't tell you about the stock market, but we pulled together 10 that we thought were important to discuss. And like I was kind of saying before, I want everybody to really think about this. You know, people, I feel from my experience, they are more inclined a lot of times to invest in real estate. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like when I talk to people and I ask them, why would you do real estate versus stocks? The answers I get a lot of times are they feel like they understood the real estate better. And so even in my own personal development, I know when I understand something or I feel like I have historical context, or really just the more I know about it, it makes me more comfortable to go in and start participating, right? And so part of the reason why we wanted to do this is because a lot of our conversations are geared towards the middle class, the middle class and the upper middle class. And guess what? One thing that a lot of people don't realize is the middle class and the upper middle class, most of their stock participation is through their job.
Yeah.
401.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's an interesting thing. Why do you think that is? That's the majority of their participation in the market.
That was my introduction to stocks. That was the first time I ever. Oh, we got a little feedback. That was the first time I ever held a stock in a portfolio, was through my first job's company 401k, and I had no clue. All I knew is like, I'm saving for my retirement. Now this may take us off tangent a little bit, but it was also whatever I contributed to that savings, my company was also matching my contribution up to a certain amount per year.
Right.
But I saw it as free money.
Free money. Okay.
So I think the people would do it because it's you don't have to think about it. It's easy.
I could feel that. I mean, we've all done it. And I would look at it like this. It's no different than if I purchased a property tomorrow, a piece of real estate, and I gave it to you to manage. Right?
How so? Explain that.
Well, let's think about this. So when you have a 401k, somebody's managing your portfolio for you. You're typically not doing it. All you're doing is making a selection as to, do you want to be conservative, aggressive, et cetera, et cetera. But then there's a person or a company on the other side that's actually doing the daily management. And one thing I know for sure is most people, including myself before I knew better, you don't ask a lot of questions about what's going on in their portfolio. We assume that they got it faded. They're going to take care of it.
Yeah.
And so that's why I use the example of me purchasing a property and giving it to you and saying, hey, Stu, go ahead and manage this property and we'll see what happens with the returns.
Now, the other thing too, if my memory, when I sat down, they were they they were investing in not necessarily stocks, but they are stocks, but it was all funds.
Mm-hmm.
All
Many.
all funds. So all groups of diverse stocks in packages.
That's right.
So you'd have a piece of Vanguard, F Vanguard, 10T, I'm making stuff up, but
That's right.
yeah, it's like I don't know what the difference is in these funds, but they're saying that they're big companies and this is what they do, so I trust them.
That's right. That's right. And hey, most of the people in our country do the same thing. So, and guess what? Of course, there's nothing wrong with having a 401k. There's nothing wrong with getting that free money that you were talking about. I think what a lot of people want to see happen, though, is that people kind of complement that with some additional stocks outside of just the 401k portfolio.
Okay.
Right? Because as you learn, you can go in and start making some moves on your own. Just like we talked about Tesla. All right, cool. Tesla's doing their thing right now. Do you have Tesla in your 401k? I've asked that question to hundreds of people and they don't know.
They don't know.
Right? It might be in the bundle and it might not be. So if you want to get some exposure to Tesla, you have to check and see if you have it already. If not, then you can go on your own and make those moves.
Let me ask you this question, man. This goes back to a season 1 question, and even episode 1, season 3. Poverty mindset. Why do you think these conversations are not popularized? Why do people continue to shy away from the conversations about money, prosperity, investing, stocks? Why would we rather? I'm asking. I'm just loading on questions in traditional Stu fashion. You don't ask just one question. Boy, ask 3-4 questions at one time.
It's cool. Let's do it.
Like, why are we? Let me just stop there. Why aren't these conversations more popularized?
That's something to think about. I just feel like, from my experience, it's not viewed as a fun conversation, and that's funny because I feel like our conversation today is going to be fun, but I think the way that it's typically approached, it's just not fun. I think what's more fun for people is the conversations about how to get rich.
Damn.
You know what I mean? How can I become wealthy? You know what I mean? Which obviously stocks are one of the ways to do that. But when we see these videos on social media, it's about like this quick path to get rich.
Is there a quick path to get rich, Eric?
There could be, but it typically doesn't happen that way for people. It's usually day over day. It's like asking yourself, is there a quick path to becoming the best basketball player in the NBA? No. All of the greats that we could name, they had to go in there and do that daily work. And the reality is, a lot of us, we just don't want to do it. And that's cool. Some people just don't want to do that daily work of even having these conversations. It just feels like work to them, maybe.
Damn.
So, hey.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if it's any deeper than that, to be honest.
No, I think you're right. But we're going to have it because, quite honestly, man, at this stage in my life, this is a fun conversation. I enjoyed watching the market move. I enjoy, and look, let me put it on the table. I'm not rich. I mean, I go back and forth with saying that because sometimes I say that statement when it's convenient. I feel very, very prosperous.
Okay.
But it's not like I have hundreds of thousands or millions sitting liquid in the bank. Okay. But yeah, man, I like these conversations. These are the conversations we should be having.
Yeah. And it's fun for me too. And you know what? There's a lot of people that it is fun for. But even then, it comes back to doing that daily work.
Yeah.
So, let's get into it though. 10 things they don't tell you about the stock market. Number 1. You still there with me, brother? All right. I don't know if I'm still live here.
Yeah, I'm here, but I think the tech is not allowing me to scroll the screen the way I want to. So I'm gonna do something real quick here, make
Okay.
it super fast. So just give them remind them of where they are and what we're doing. Let me fix this real quick.
Okay. Take your time. You know, so you all are tuned into the Money Sex Gen X podcast. We are going to have this really interesting conversation today. 10 things they don't tell you about the stock market.
Yeah. All right, here we go. So you put in some work to show us these 10 things that they don't tell us. And I'm going to share the screen now for
Okay.
the presentation that you put together for
All right.
us. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is it.
Okay.
Is this it? Can you see it?
I cannot see it yet.
Is it coming in? Is it okay? Because yes, now you can. You should be able to see it now.
I can see it now. All right. Can you scroll down a little bit? There you go. All right. We're good. All right. So number one, and this might be surprising to a lot of people. I can't wait. I would love for people to get in the comments about this and tell me what your experiences have been, but it's important to know. Many advisors are not investors.